good afternoon and welcome back to Kristianstad in Sweden. This is the final round of the 2015 European Kart Racing Championships for the KF and the KF Junior categories. The titles are on the line this afternoon. We are moments away from the start of the KF Junior final. The tension is building here in Kristianstad. 34 of not only the best drivers, young drivers from around Europe, but from around the world as well, fighting out the title this afternoon. That's the track map on the screen. In a few moments' time, we'll take a lap of Kristianstad. 1,231 metres this circuit. The championship will come down to a fight between three. Christian Lundgaard, who will start on pole position. Way back on grid number 14 is the Indonesian Presley Martono. And second in the championship, Clement Novalak, starting out of grid 18. That is the scene, the magnificent scene here in Sweden. This is the championship about to be decided. The drivers are ready and set to go. The front of the grid, that's Bent Vescal closest to you on screen. To the right of screen, the 222 kart, the Dutchman. To the left of screen, your pole sitter, number 208. Well, as the drivers get ready, we'll take a lap of this Kristianstad circuit. This is what the junior drivers will be facing over the next 21 laps. Let's go on board and see what it's like to drive the host circuit for the final round of the European Championships. This is the start-finish straight. Flat out into turn one when there is no traffic. Down through the chicane, it is more tight circuit than we're used to on the European calendar. Left-hander and braking into this hairpin. This is the opening lap from the heats yesterday. On board Jessica Bachmann's kart, the Cosmic kart. Let's take a listen. Onto the start-finish straight one more time at 118 kilometres an hour. Thank you very much to Swede Jessica Bachmann and the Cosmic Racing team for providing us with that fantastic footage. Well, the girls at Truss, as you can see, struggling to hold on to their hats. The wind really has picked up. If you were with us earlier on in the morning for the pre-final, you know that we raced that pre-final, at least for the KF class, on a soaking wet track. However, the wind that you can see blowing the trees in the background has blown those clouds over towards Denmark. And we are getting set for a dry race here this afternoon as we look at Ivan Shvetsov on the outside of the front row of the grid for the SMP Racing team. In the Tony kart, powered by the Vortex. He's not in contention for the title, but he desperately wants to take a win here this afternoon. He won pre-final B. It starts on grid 2. On the left of your screen is 208. That's Christian Lundgaard from Denmark for Ward Racing. He starts out of pole position. And he's looking like he's in pole position for the title. It will be a race of three. Lundgaard out of pole, Martono, the Indonesian, out of grid 14, and Clement Novalak, the Brit, out of grid number 18. There is the very, very impressive Marta Garcia from Valencia in Spain in the Fernando Alonso kart as the beautiful Swedish grid girls clear the circuit, holding on to their hats. We look at Bent Vescal in the Perilla-powered Tony kart. The Dutchman, arms folded, as relaxed as you'd like out of grid number 4. Petra Pacec, now with the Formula K kart. This is the very impressive young Czech driver. He starts out of, let's see, grid number 8, the 4th row of the grid, that is. He had brilliant speed in the pre-final, finished 4th from something like 10th on the grid. Don't discount him taking the biggest win of his career later this afternoon. He could very well do that. David Vidales, the Spaniard, in the Energy Kart. He had a big crash in Portimao, Portugal, in the second round of the series, but he's back here racing. As we look at Felipe Drugovich, the Cosmic Racing Team, he's been quick all year. Felipe starts out of grid number 6. Caio Collet from Sao Paulo in Brazil, like his countryman, he's also driving a Cosmic Kart. That is our race director, Mr. Nigel Edwards, to the left of your screen, as we look at Kush Maini, all the way from Bangalore in India. Spends most of his time in England these days, where he follows his favourite football team, which is Chelsea. Kush, mathematically a chance for the title, but virtually, well, he's going to need a miracle to win it. That was Ulisses Dupau in the Birrell Art Kart. He starts out of grid number 9. Alongside Kush Maini. This is Sebastian Fernandez from Venezuela. The Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart. The Alonso kart. Remember, Ricky Flynn Motorsport are the reigning world champions. As the flag waves green, we look at Rasmus Lind very, very briefly in the Ricardo kart. The local boy starts out of grid number 13. The field fires into life. We are getting set to go for the final. This is the European Championship decider for the KF Junior class. As we look at the grid, Christian Lundgaard in pole position for the race and for the championship, we must say. He's alongside the Russian Ivan Shvetsov. Then it's Marta Garcia, Bent Fiscal, Davide Vidales, alongside Felipe Drugovich, Caio Collet and Petra Pacic, Ulisses Dupau and Kush Maini. Look at grid number 14, there's Presley Martono, and grid number 18, Clement Novalak. They are the only other drivers who can displace Christian Lundgaard from winning the championship. Every other driver in the field desperate to win around here today, but it is a fight between 208, Christian Lundgaard, 204, the baby race Tony Kart of Martono, 217 of the Brit Clement Novalak, all the way back to Simon Olens, who scraped into the field in this his home race, starting out of grid number 34 alongside the Chinese driver Sun Yu Yang. The crowd has built nicely here at Kristianstad. Magnificent complex for this, the championship decider. This will be run over 21 laps, just over 25 kilometres. One lap of Kristianstad is 1,281 metres. Lundgaard on screen. The race is on the line. The title is on the line. As Javier Loveres in the Zanardi kart, well, he goes offline onto the grass. The field form up. There's Petra Pacic. They're getting very aggressive, very racing in this, the formation laps. Lundgaard, watch out for him. This is the final corner they're coming around now. We are in the hands of our race director, Mr. Nigel Edwards. We have 4 red lights where they will go out. We will be racing, which is right now, it's Christian Lundgaard, the pole sitter who leads them down into turn 1. A brilliant start by Marta Garcia and her countryman. Davide Vidales in the Energy Kart is now up into 3rd. As the field have gone through relatively cleanly. Felipe Drugovich and Caio Collet, the 2 Brazilians in the 2 Cosmic Karts. They've muscled their way into 3rd and 4th. Your race leader is your championship leader, Christian Lundgaard. Down into the hairpin for the first time, Caio Collet. 2-4-1 in the Cosmic Kart, tries a move on his countryman. It is Drugovich and Collet. Garcia in 2nd spot. Well, quite remarkably, they've all got through this first lap relatively cleanly as they file down through the tightest part of the circuit. Christian Lundgaard, let's look at the lead. And furthermore, let's look back to see where Novalak and Martono are as they come across the line. It is a gap of 0.6 of a second between Lundgaard, Garcia, Drugovich, Collet, Viscal, Javier Loveres. Kush Maini is now up into position 7. Where is Martono? He's moved up 1 spot. He's 13th. Novalak, he's moved up 2 spots. He's 16th, but they will not win the title from back there. Christian Lundgaard, 0.6 of a second over Marta Garcia. Remember, she's won the opening 2 rounds of the CIK FIA Academy Trophy. She dominated both Zwerer and Genk 2 weeks ago. She's been super quick here all weekend. She took 2 heat wins yesterday. She's running in 2nd spot. Don't discount her from standing on the top of the podium this afternoon. Christian Lundgaard comes round to complete his 2nd lap up the start-finish straight. Yes, it is in the sunshine here at Kristianstad. Who would have thought a couple of hours ago, when it was bucketing down rain, we would say that? Cosmic Karts go through in 3rd and 4th. Felipe Drugovich, Caio Collet. Ben Fiscal, the Dutchman, sits in 5th. A great start by Javier Loveres, the Spaniard who gets it up over 2 wheels through the chicane. Fastest lap of the race. He sits in position number 6. Aboard the Zanardi kart, Ivan Shvetsov is in 7th. Didn't take his place on the front of the grid. Struggled to form up, and the Russian sits back there, 1 ahead of Kushmani. Presley Martono into 11th now. The Indonesian who dominated the last round of the series at PFI in England. There's Fiscal. Drugovic looks over his shoulder only to find his countryman. There's Javier Loveres going through. Ivan Shvetsov, 1 ahead of Kushmani. There's Petra Pacic. Presley Martono coming through. Presley is now in 12th, but guess who's in front of him? Clement Novalak, the Tony Kart team driver, is on the charge. He's come from grid 18 to be in 11th. He's taken 7 places in just the opening 2.5 laps. Christian Lundgaard, the lead has been cut to just over 0.3 of a second. Martono, you can see at the bottom of your screen, is now 12th behind Clement Novalak. But it matters not for them if Christian Lundgaard can maintain this lead. He will win the title. We still have a long way to go, some 17 or so laps. As they come around the final corner, you can see the flags blowing in the background. It is blowing a gale here at Kristianstad, but it is not raining. We are on the LeConte dry, slick tyres. Shvetsov looks over his shoulder only to find the Indian Kushmani. Then it's Noah White, Clement Novalak and Martono. Petra Pacic, there it goes through, has been displaced and lost 5 positions on that very last lap. He's now behind Ulissi Dupau and Rasmus Lind, the Swede in the Ricardo kart, who took a heat win yesterday, young Rasmus. We look at a replay off the start. Indeed, Bent Fiscal on the outside of the front row of the grid. You can see Shvetsov missed the start, but Christian Lundgaard took the lead into turn number 1, and that's where he's been ever since. He leads by 0.7 of a second now. He's pulled the gap out from young Marta Garcia. Drugovic starting to close in on the Spaniard. Then it's Caio Collet. Bent Fiscal's driving superbly in position number 5, ahead of Javier Loveres. Noah White now up into 9th. Just behind Kushmani. There's the virtual championship. If the positions remain unchanged, you can see not only Martono and Novalak won't win it, but they won't even make the top 3. Marta Garcia, 2nd on the road, 2nd in the championship, but Christian Lundgaard is looking good to win here today. He's driving for the Swedish Ward Racing team. In the past, they've produced such drivers as Heikki Kovalainen, Susie Stoddart, as she was then known. Almost always, as long as we can remember, they've driven green Tony karts. And their boy, Christian Lundgaard, he's driving one to great effect out front now. Felipe Drugovich, you can see the inside right rear tyre lift up nicely through that hairpin. That Cosmic is hooked up and flying. He's in position number 3. Fastest lap of the race last time round for Christian Lundgaard, a 53 dead, a 53.016. He's some 0.2 of a second faster than everybody else in the field. The gap is 1.4 seconds. Marta Garcia, she's starting to fall into the clutches of the Brazilian. Felipe Drugovich from Maringa in Brazil. Obviously speaks perfect Portuguese, his mother tongue, perfect English, perfect Italian. A very talented young driver from the country that is synonymous not only with football, but producing some brilliant racing drivers of the past. Felipe Drugovich, 3rd. The Spaniard, Marta Garcia, is 2nd, but under attack from the Cosmic Kart driver. Kale Colette starting to fall into the clutches of Ben Fiscal. There's Javier Oliveres behind the Russian Ivan Shvetsov. Martono, where is the Indonesian? He's in position number 10. Clement Novalak. Well, the Brit has dropped down to 13th after being shuffled back on that lap. Clement Novalak has just been passed by the Swede in the Ricardo kart, Rasmus Lind. We spoke about Rasmus. He had a good run yesterday. Remember, there were 75 drivers starting this final round of the European Kart Racing Championships. Rasmus started 13. He's just taken the championship contender, Clement Novalak. You see Rasmus walking around the pits. You wouldn't believe he's a racing driver if you're a fan of the 80s supergroup Simply Red. Young Rasmus Lind, he's a Mick Hucknall lookalike. He sits in position number 12 aboard the Ricardo kart. One ahead of Novalak, Ulissi Dupau. Sebastian Fernandez rounds out the top 15. Drugovic over the ripple strip has now taken Garcia for second spot. As you can see, the Spaniard sits there in third. She will have to defend the other Brazilian in a few moments' time. She's in a Cosmic kart sandwich. Drugovic from Brazil in front of her in the Cosmic. Kale Colette, also from Brazil, also in the Cosmic, immediately behind her and closing. And she's dragging the Dutchman Ben Fiscal along with her. Javier Oliveres, another Spaniard, sits in sixth ahead of the Russian Ivan Shvetsov. Kushmani Presley Martono is up into ninth. That will not win the Indonesian the title. It won't even put him in the top three. In fact, Christian Lundgaard, the lead is 2.6 seconds back to Felipe Drugovic. We are coming up to half race distance very, very shortly. There's Garcia going through on screen. Fastest lap of the race. Look at that. The championship fight is not over yet because Presley Martono, driving the baby race Tony kart, has responded. He will need Lundgaard to fall over, which is looking very, very unlikely, and he will need to pass 8 more karts to claim the title. Clement Novalak still stuck down in 13th behind Lind, one ahead of Sebastian Fernandez and Petra Pacek, who's been shuffled back after making such a great start. The end of lap number 10. Drugovic. Garcia looks over his shoulder, head down behind the steering wheel. 114 kilometres an hour for these KF Junior karts coming up into turn 1. Through the chicane, 2 wheels over the ripple strip before braking into the furthest point of the circuit. Ben Fiscal in the Perilla powered Tony kart. We almost always see Vortex power plants aboard the karts painted green. But Ben Fiscal has got an IAME engine on that 222 green machine. The Dutchman is in 5th, just ahead of the Zanardi kart of Javier Oliveres, who's starting to fall back into the clutches ever so slightly of the Russian Ivan Shvetsov. Kushmani from Bangalore in India is in 8th, and Presley Martono is lighting up the screens once again. He's just set a second fastest sector, but he's 8.4 seconds off the leader, who disappears by our screens. Christian Lundgaard is looking good for the title here this weekend. Ulissi Dupau comes into pit lane to replace that front nose cone. An F1 style pit stop for the Birrell Art driver. He's out of contention. Right in contention, nothing's changed. Look at the virtual championship. Kenny Roosens, who sensationally was excluded from starting this final. We'll get to that in a moment. He still sits in second despite watching this race from the sidelines. Martono now in 3rd spot in the series at least, but he is charging. Can he overtake Roosens for 2nd spot? We watch Drugovic down the start-finish straight into turn 1, as smooth as you'd like for the Brazilian. Over the ripple strip, there's Garcia. She's from Valencia in Spain. She is a super talent. Not only did she win the opening 2 rounds of the CIK FIA Academy Trophy, she also stood on the podium in the WSK Supermaster Series to kick off 2015. So we watch your race leader driving faultlessly. Yeah, just getting back to Kenny Roosens, the Belgian led the series coming into Kristianstad this weekend. He was on 44 points from Novalak on 38 and 36 for both Martono and Lundgaard. Wow, hasn't that changed? After the pre-final, Kenny Roosens was deemed to have interfered with his nose cone and was excluded from starting the final. He's watching this race from pit lane. He cannot defend the lead he had. He's struggling to defend second place because Presley Martono is closing in on that points difference. Kenny Roosens, who dominated in Portimao, he took pole position on Friday night here in the sunshine in southern Sweden. He had a wretched run through the heats and he's been disqualified from starting the final. It's all happening here in Kristianstad. Felipe Drugovich, the Brazilian, is in position number 2. Still ahead of Marta Garcia. The gap between those two drivers is 0.5 of a second. Then we go back a similar distance to Caio Collet, Bent Fiscal, Javier Loveres, Shvetsov, Maney, Presley Martono. He's made up 5 positions from his starting grid of 14, but still remains in position number 9. Across the start-finish line with 7 laps remaining. There's Drugovich, getting every ounce of grip out of those LeConte tyres, the official tyre supplier for the KF Junior class for the 2015 European Championships. There's Martono, the bottom of your screen, in position 9, and look at that, position 14, the bottom right of your screen, Clement Novalak. He won the WSK Supermaster Series to kick off 2015. He was in second place coming into this championship decider, but he won't take out the European title unless he can miraculously improve 13 positions and hope Christian Lundgaard finishes this race on the side of the circuit. And I don't say that in an unsporting-like fashion, but that is how desperate the Brit Clement Novalak is to win the title. Caio Collet, the Brazilian, third in line on screen, under attack by Bent Fiscal, the Dutchman in the Tony Kart. Remember, he's got the Perilla engine on, can't make a move that time round. There's Marta Garcia. She's from the city that hosted the Mediterranean Formula One Grand Prix for a few years back there. That is Valencia on the coast of Spain. Fastest lap of the race remains a 52.863. That's for Presley Martono, still stuck down in position number 9. An average speed of 83 kilometres an hour, almost 84 kilometres an hour. A top speed on the short start-finish straight here at Kristianstad, just over 114 kilometres an hour. Maybe 1 or 2 more with the slipstream. So we watch Fiscal. Up the inside goes the Dutchman. He takes the Brazilian. Looks over his shoulder, says, thank you very much. I'm in 4th place. I'm now 1 step off the podium. Nice move into the final corner by the Perilla-powered Tony Kart driver. Caio Collet in the green helmet has to concede. Let's see if the Brazilian can respond. 5 laps to go in this championship decider. So they smash over the ripple strip. We go back to the leader. His gap is 3.1 seconds. As the skies ominously start to get just that little bit darker here in Kristianstad. Let's look at the replay. Into the final corner, the Dutchman. Look at the inside rear wheel skip off the ground. Massive grip in that Tony Kart, which is all hooked up onto the start-finish straight. Caio Collet, the Brazilian, he was 4th. He's now running 5th. Bent Fiscal is now 1 step off the podium. This is your race leader for Ward Racing from Sweden, here in Sweden. Christian Lundgaard, the 208 Tony Kart, the bright orange helmet, the softly spoken Dane. From just down the road, just over the border, Copenhagen, Denmark, where most teams and drivers flew into, before crossing that bridge and tunnel that goes under the water, separating the 2 countries of Denmark and Sweden. Where, dare I say it, the toll is €52 one way for 1 car. But it'll be money well spent for the Dane, who's done that journey many times. It's almost a home circuit, despite not being in his home country. It's where his team Ward Racing are based. The gap has spread out. We're coming up to 3 laps to go. Lundgaard still putting in the big ones. 53.1 that time round. Head down behind the start behind the steering wheel on the start-finish straight. There's the virtual championship. Presley Martorno just flashes by at the right of your screen. He's now in second. Rusens is falling back all the time. He's third in the championship. Clement Novalak, he's stuck down in position 14. The reigning WSK Supermaster Series, he kicked off 2015 in fantastic fashion, but he is 13 spots off the lead. Let's have a look at the gap for the Tony Kart driver from Great Britain, I should say. He's 15 seconds behind the race leader. And he's 1 second behind Sebastian Fernandez. That's just to make it into position 13. He's one ahead of the German Max Hess. Semi Taufuk, he's 16th ahead of Petre Pacic and the Frenchman Jean-Baptiste Minouer. On the start-finish line one more time. There goes Felipe Drugovich. This is Marta Garcia on screen. She's looking at another podium in the European Championships. Whether it's the CIK FIA Academy Trophy, whether it is KF Junior, she has been a revelation thus far in 2015 with 2 laps to go in this, the championship decider. Can she overhaul Rusens to take third in the championship? Not unless she can get past the driver in front of her, Felipe Drugovich, the Cosmic Kart driver from Maringa, I should say, in Brazil, sits in second. He is 3.3 seconds behind Christian Lundgaard, who has not backed off. They come across the line to take the last lap board. The gap last time was 3.3 seconds. Lundgaard flashes by. There's Drugovich. There's Garcia. Bent Fiscal, brilliant up into position number 4 ahead of Caio Collet. Xavier Loveres. Presley Martorno has made it into 7th. That will secure him 2nd in the championship at least. As Christian Lundgaard smashes over the ripple strips for the final time, down into the hairpin for this, the last lap. He's looking not only at a series round win, but the championship win itself. The driver from nearby Denmark driving for the team from Sweden, Ward Racing. He's just got 4 corners to go. Brakes hard into the left-hander, lets that Tony Kart drift. This is the final corner. Christian Lundgaard will take the checkered flag. He wins here in Kristianstad. He is the European champion for 2015. He's absolutely delighted, as well he should be. Felipe Drugovich across the line in 2nd spot. Then a brilliant drive by Marta Garcia. She comes home in 3rd after starting out of grid number 3. Bent Fiscal, the Dutchman, was 4th ahead of Caio Collet, Xavier Loveres. Presley Martorno gave it absolutely everything. He started grid 14. He made up 7 places to finish 7th on the road and 2nd provisionally in the championship. But look at your race winner, your series champion for 2015. This man on screen right now, Christian Lundgaard, wins it for Denmark, wins it for Ward Racing of Sweden. He's absolutely delighted. And once again, he's won it for Tony Kart. 208 Kart, he's absolutely thrilled. So he should be. Still a few puffs of smoke coming out of that Vortex exhaust. There's Presley Martorno in the baby race Tony Kart, gave it absolutely everything. They race back to pit lane. The Ward Racing team congratulate him on the entry to pit lane. That is the scene in Sweden. We've had one final. The rain has held off. Hopefully the rain will hold off for our 2nd senior KF final in a few moments' time. Unofficially, Christian Lundgaard from Denmark. Wave those Danish flags up on the hill. They can hear us. They're taking our live coverage here at the circuit. Thanks for that. And you're also watching us live here on CIKFIA.tv. The Dane from just over the river, he's won it for Ward Racing of Sweden. He's won it for Tony Kart. Congratulations, Christian Lundgaard, unofficially the European champion for 2015. There's the results on screen. Lundgaard wins it from Felipe Drugovich. Marta Garcia, another brilliant drive by the Spaniard. She comes home 3rd, ahead of Bent Fiscal, Caio Collet, Xavier Loveres. Well done, Presley Martorno. A good effort all year. Remember, he dominated the 2nd round in England. He's finished 7th, and we believe he's finished 2nd in the championship. Bad luck for Clement Novalak. Look at that, position number 14. To say the Brit will be disappointed is a bit of an understatement, but we will see him on September 27 attempting to take out the World Championship at La Conca Muro-Leccese in southern Italy. Wow, what a race that turned out to be tension-wise. Wasn't the closest race we've seen. Christian Lundgaard had us on the edge of our seats. He's just from over the border in nearby Denmark. His team is based here in Sweden. He has won it for the Italian Tony Kart racing team, the Tony Kart manufacturer, I should say, for the Ward racing team, who've used Tony Karts for as long as we can remember. The wind still blows a gale here at Kristianstad as we prepare for the podium presentation in a few moments' time. There is unofficially the championship. Lundgaard has won on 53 points. Martono did scrape into second spot with 45 points. Kenny Roosens leading into the final round. He does take third in the championship. The Belgian on 44 points. Marta Garcia was fourth. But the winner unofficially, Christian Lundgaard. What a faultless drive from pole position. He was not headed. He didn't look behind him until the final lap of the race. That's when he took the checkered flag. That's the scene here in Kristianstad. The clouds are forming up overhead. Stay with us on CIKFIA.tv. You can see how strong the wind is blowing. We will have the podium presentation for you in just a few moments. Unofficially, Christian Lundgaard takes the European Championship. He's definitely won here at Kristianstad in Sweden today. We'll have the podium presentation for you in just a few moments. Third place driver.
Sì, confermo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final round of the 2015 European Championships for KF Junior. It is blowing a gale. We will proceed with the podium presentation. All our drivers are exhausted, but they are ready. In second place, from Spain, welcome to the podium, Marta Garcia! In second place, driving the Cosmic Kart from Maringa, Brazil, Felipe Drugovich! Ladies and gentlemen, he's from just over the border in Denmark. He's driving for the Ward Racing team from Sweden. He's won today. He's the 2015 European champion. Welcome to the top step of the podium, Christian Lundgaard! And representing the winning team, Ward Racing, Mr. Joachim Ward. We stand by for the national anthem of Denmark. Your podium, Christian, Felipe and Marta to present the third place trophy. I'd like to invite Mr. Stefan Haska, the Vice Chairman of the Cultural and Recreational Committee of Kristianstad, to present the third place trophy to Marta Garcia. We'll invite the chairman of the board of the Swedish Karting Association, Mr. Stefan Andersson, to present the second place trophy to Felipe Drugovich. Now we'll invite the Vice President of the CIK, the FIA, Mr. Kees van der Grint, to present the winning trophy to the 2015 European champion, Christian Lundgaard! And Mr. Magnus Hedman, Organisation Committee of the magnificent Kristianstad Karting Club, to present the trophy to Mr. Joachim Ward, representing the winning team, Ward Racing. As the girls move in, the beautiful Swedish girls, to present the flowers to our three drivers, Christian, Felipe and Marta. We'll move in for a quick word. We'll get to Christian in just a few moments. Marta Garcia, you won the CIK FIA Academy Trophy 2 weeks ago in Genk. You're on the podium here, the Euro Champs final in KF Junior. You're going fantastically in 2015.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend here because I was fast. And then the quali was okay. Well, the final I was second, but the Drugovich was faster and then passed me, but it's okay. I'm so happy.
Well done, Marta. Marta, we'll see you at the World Championships, La Conca, September 27. Congratulations today. Second place from Maringa, Brazil, Felipe Drugovich. Felipe, you've been fast all year. This is a great result to end the European Championships.
Yeah, I think we worked really well last week. And I think the pace in the final was really good. So that's why we could be here, and it's quite a good result.
Congratulations, Felipe, I'm going to get up here with you, Christian Lundgaard. You are the European champion for 2015. How do you feel?
Very, very good. I thank my mom. She did this to me. It's hard.
Congratulations. Christian, let's just talk about the race for a moment. Off pole position, you blitzed them into the lead. The kart was obviously fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Joachim. You did a very good job. I got a good start, got a gap. Just keep calm from the whole race, and then the full race was so hard. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Lundgaard from Denmark, the European champion for 2015, will step down here. Coming up in just a few moments' time, the KF final, the European Championship decider. Don't go anywhere. But let's hear it one more time for Marta in third, second Felipe, and your winner, Christian Lundgaard.